3 days with most of y'all. Most of it's invalidated, but we're going to work our way through that. So, you know, what I first kind of wanted to start out by saying is it was fun in 2016 to kind of become acquainted with Clayton and Kathy's festival. I met most of you there. I came back to Rocky Grass, another festival. If you don't remember me, it's probably due to combinations of alcohol, THC, other recreational substances, perhaps a lack of sleep, but also the fact that at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people in my family would not consider me subdued, but when your brother happens to be a 6'3" impulse, as I like to say, who can probably be caught wearing a onesie, probably in an American flag style, probably while donning a rainbow wig. Meanwhile, if there's audio equipment on hand that he's trying desperately to figure out, does this go up any louder? I can tend to be a little inconspicuous at that point in time. But when Clayton and I drove home from festival that year, you know, you don't get a chance to talk to everybody, and one of the people was a longtime friend of his in the car, Kathy. And we hadn't talked a lot that year during festival. One, this crazy individual showed up to a 4-day music festival in a full leg cast because she was recovering from a broken leg, and what better way to spend time with a broken leg than in the sun and camping? I can't think of a better one. But what I remember on the car ride home was our conversation was just, it was wonderful. We went in all sorts of different directions. You know, Kathy was extremely inquisitive. I appreciated how direct she was. But also, again, you know, the fact that she was willing to venture into a camping situation showed off to me this incredibly sporting nature of hers as well. And so, anyways, Clayton and I dropped her off at her apartment then in Washington Park, where she was living with Allie at the time. Allie wasn't at home, but we dropped her off, got her settled, because of course, you know, her leg was, you know, we were trying to help her get settled. But then, a couple weeks later, Clayton had gotten Mowgli, the beloved Mowgli, and I've been forgotten ever since. Doesn't matter. Anyways, that's another story. But he was telling me to, like, yeah, Kathy and I, like, I think something's kind of building there. And I was like, so you've known this person for 3.5 years, and now you're going to try the relationship thing? Like, I thought that was strictly the domain of, like, When Harry Met Sally or something like that. But what I have to say is that 3.5 years in, what Kathy knew about Clayton is what she was getting herself into, because just to make sure we're all on the same page, my brother, he can be a lot.
With pride.
That said, he is a caring, generous, warm spirit that we are all so lucky to know. But you gotta know what you're getting into. And so I've often said, I've said aloud at family gatherings and very often to myself, what this guy needs in a partner is somebody who is patient, warm, interested, but also knows how to pull on the strengths of the bridle when it's like, okay, partner, let's walk that back. Just like 2 or 3 steps here, because this time you might have gone one too far. But these are the things that they bring by complementing each other in that regard. And I think that part is so wonderful. And you know, last year, for the LeBeau family in the room, we're all a wonderful bunch. But Kathy spent 10 days with us over Christmas last year. And you know what? A little bit like Clayton, although Clayton probably takes the cake, we're a lot. We have a lot of energy. And so she's been a wonderful addition to our family. And so I am so delighted to welcome her into our family. For her to be able to handle us but also just fit in is just wonderful. So there is, in terms of the fact that we've come together today, picture, So, there is a whole other selfish reason, though, that I'm glad that we are here today with this lovely couple. So, for those of you who are from more the Colorado chapter of Clayton's life, this is not unique to all siblings, but we were not necessarily all that close growing up. A rule-following older brother with an eager to please, ready to break the rules, younger brother often created a lot of incendiary situations, namely oftentimes coming from the older brother. And there was one time, unfortunately, in the summer of 2009, when Clayton had it up to here, and he said, you know what, you're going to always be my brother, but if you don't know how to get your act in line, we're just not going to spend all that much time together. And it was a very difficult conversation. We were on a dock, I can still picture it, it was night, and everything did not change that moment, but I heard the message loud and clear, and I'll never forget a couple years later, I was on an airplane listening to podcasts, as one and everybody does, and it was about the power of sibling relationship, and the fact that we have gone through with these people, through stuff that are significant others, that nobody will be with us through that longevity. And I cried like a baby on that airplane, listening to that, because I acknowledged, of course, that truth to myself. And so the reason that I'm so happy that Clayton and Kathy met when they did is it gave he and I, especially me, the time to work on our relationship, to be the brother that he hopefully deserves. And it is one of the proudest things of my life that he calls me all the time now. Like, brother! Like this. That's how the phone call starts. You guys may have your own salutation with Clayton on the phone, but he just yells brother directly into the phone. And the fact that I call him all the time too is just wonderful. And so that time has been a blessing for me. Kathy, I want to thank you for being a wonderful partner to this generous grown child that you have elected to marry. And I cannot wait to be a part of the next chapter of your guys' life. So thank you very much.
Hooray!